Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Today we're about to go over some running backs that I think you guys should be targeting in the later rounds of your upcoming draft this year. We're going to start it off with A.J. Dillon. Now, Dillon is currently going as running back number 33 in PPR so far. And if anything happens to Aaron Jones throughout the course of the season, God forbid, we're never wishing for injuries by any means, but it's good to have this handcuff guy like A.J. Dillon on your team just in case a situation arises down the road. Now, Aaron Jones, I actually did some digging here. Aaron Jones has a history of grade 2 MCL sprains in both knees multiple times since 2017. Now, I'm not saying that that will happen guaranteed by any means, but just in case something happens, then A.J. Dillon would be a great stash. Last year, Aaron Jones didn't miss any time, so you didn't really get to see any of A.J. Dillon's full potential as a starting running back. But in week 12, he dropped 17.8. Week 13, 20.9, and week 15, 22.1 in PPR leagues. Now, he was receiving around 3 to 4 catches per game during that stretch from weeks 12 to 16, so that's definitely promising. I know when you think of this Packers offense, you're probably thinking, well, Aaron Jones gets the majority of the passes, and then A.J. Dillon is used, more towards the goal line in those short yardage situations, but it's pretty clear that A.J. Dillon is capable of catching a lot of passes as well. Now, like I said, he is an absolute immediate start every single week if Aaron Jones goes down. I wouldn't even mind putting him in your RB1 slot. That's how much confidence I have in A.J. Dillon if he's the main guy on the team. Next player up on this list is Alexander Mattison. He's currently going as running back number 23 in PPR, so a little bit steeper of a price here. Pretty simple reasoning here is that Dalvin Cook is no longer on the team. Alexander Mattison, though, the one red flag for me is that he has not led a team throughout an entire year as the starting running back. So we're going to have to see where that goes. But they have the third easiest projected schedule for running backs in this upcoming season. So that gives me a lot of hope. Now, the Vikings already came out and said that Mattison is going to be their every down running back. So you don't really need to worry about another RB coming in and taking those goal line opportunities away. It's so annoying when your running back gets all the way down the field, and then at the last second, they bring in another guy to take away the touchdown and just 6 points wasted for you. But Mattison started in 4 games in 2021 when Dalvin Cook was injured and scored at least 20 PPR fantasy points in 3 out of 4 of those games. So that is very promising. Now, he's a very powerful running back, and I'm more than sure that Justin Jefferson is going to take a lot of pressure off of Mattison this year because of how open he's going to get and how talented of a wide receiver he is. Next up on this list is Khalil Herbert. Now, this is a little farther down the list. He's currently going as running back number 37 in PPR. Last info we received was leading that Herbert is going to be the number 1 in Chicago. So why would you not pick a number 1 option late in the draft just to stash him in case he starts doing well? He played very well last year when Montgomery went down. For example, week 3, 30.9 PPR fantasy points. Week 7, 15.7, and week 8, 15.9. Now, the one thing that I'm curious on, and the reason that I know he's not up higher on this list, is that he only started in 1 game last season. So we don't really know what he's going to do with that starting job throughout the entire season, if he can hold it, if he'll lose it to Donta Foreman, who is also there. But I would expect Donta Foreman to just take those goal line carries away in this situation. We've seen that Herbert can catch passes. Now, as of right now, where he's going in the draft, he could be a great bench option for your team in case somebody else goes down. So why not take a starting running back on the Bears? Next player up on this list is Jerick McKinnon. He's currently going as running back number 39 in PPR, so just 2 spots behind Khalil Herbert at the moment. He's on one of the top scoring offenses in the entire league, Kansas City Chiefs, and they passed him the ball a lot, whether it was on the goal line, whether it was just throughout normal drives. Jerick McKinnon was getting a lot of work last season. He actually averaged the most fantasy points in his entire career last season with 11.5 PPR fantasy points per game. I mean, he's going to have the same role this season as he did in last season, if not an increased role because of how well he played, in my opinion. Weeks 14 and 15, he dropped over 30 PPR fantasy points, and then 2 weeks later, scored another 22.6 fantasy points. I mean, the guy's consistent. You can't argue with that. And as running back number 41 going in drafts this year, that's a steal in my opinion. Next player up on this list is Elijah Mitchell. Now, Elijah Mitchell is currently going as running back number 42 in PPR this year. Now, if anything happens to Christian McCaffrey, it's pretty simple. You put Elijah Mitchell in your lineup and you let that ride, however many weeks that McCaffrey's injured. God forbid, we don't want any injuries. like I said again. Now, Elijah Mitchell gets a good amount of reps even when McCaffrey is healthy, but I'm not so sure that I would be inclined to start him unless McCaffrey was fully out of the lineup or very limited for that matter. Now, if the QB position in San Francisco is up in the air, then I would expect both of these running backs to get a lot of work, a lot of check down work out of the backfield. Even though McCaffrey is more of a pass catching running back than Mitchell, he could see some strays fly his way in San Fran. Next player up on this list, Samaje Perine, currently going as running back number 34 in PPR leagues. Now, he is a great handcuff in Denver for Javonte Williams, just in case he doesn't fully recover from that torn ACL and LCL as quickly as we might think. Now, the reports are saying that Williams is good to go for the beginning of the season, but they might ease him back into games, so that's something to look out for. And Samaje could be a good starter option in week 1 if you really need him. When Perine was the starting running back last season in Cincinnati, he performed amazing, scoring over 15 PPR fantasy points in 3 straight games from weeks 11 to 13. Now, the only downside could be if this Broncos team struggles this year a lot like they did last year. But Samaje gets a lot of checkdowns out of the backfield, so he might not struggle as much as the wide receivers might struggle if this team is in a bad position, midway to late in the season. Last but not least, I want to go over a couple other options that people are overlooking. Alvin Kamara being number 1. We don't know how long the suspension is going to be, if the suspension is even going to happen at all. Probably no more than 6 games. So if Alvin Kamara falls way too far down your draft board come draft day, then I would take a shot on him, to be honest with you. He didn't perform great last year, but he has shown in the past that he's a great pass catcher, and that's a steal in PPR league. Dalvin Cook being another one of these options. He hasn't been signed yet, but I think he will be by the beginning of the season. Depends what team he goes to, and if they use him in a limited role or an every down back role, then you're going to get a steal if they use him in an every down back role by selecting Dalvin Cook late in your draft. Other quick options, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. I'm not sure about if these guys are going to get utilized as much as they have in the past, but just in case they do, one of those last couple of roster spots wouldn't be a bad decision to take one of these guys. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.